I just want to push back a little bit on the pick me part and clarify the pick me. They're not being called a pick me because they say they want a husband. They're being called a pick me because they do it to the detriment of other women, as in they take steps, i.e., demonize other Black women or so forth, or women in general, to be that pick me. Not that, oh, I want a husband. Shit, I have a husband. I love my husband. I don't consider myself a pick me, even though if you look at the whole thing, say, oh, but you were picked. Most men are like, oh, but you were picked. But no, the pick me is to the detriment of other women. Their actions is to the detriment, is the part of the definition. But I'm just saying, I just wanted to put that out there. You can look it up on Urban Slang. That's literally the fucking definition of a pick me.
What I'm saying is, the reason why I'm calling cap is because, again, anything that's a slight towards Black women, a Black woman can say, oh, that's a detriment to Black women. So if a Black woman is trying to hold other Black women accountable in the public space, a woman can use that and say it's pick me. Also, I've heard women who barely even interacted with other women automatically look at that woman as a pick me because of certain things that wasn't even relevant. So I'm saying we got to be careful about that. But the larger point wasn't even about the pick me part. It was about whether or not women who are espousing certain things in public, other women will view them as pick-me's, credibly or not. And I'm telling you, most women that I hear, when they hear other women, they don't go into their backgrounds, none of that. As soon as they hear that kind of talk, they automatically got the little pick-me ears up. So all I'm simply saying is, for the women who would do that and then get mad at this, to me, it's incongruent. That's what I'm saying. Right? You can't be like, oh, no, we are the most feminine. We are the most family-oriented. We are the most marriage. And a woman saying that, you're like, no, bitch, shut the fuck up. You can pick me. It's not congruent, is what I'm saying. That's the only point I'm making.
Roger that. Go ahead, Devin.
No, I was going to say, I think Paul's got a point, and we're going to rule out. I'm not talking about the sex tourist guys. We're talking about just about values, guys over there looking for wives and long-term relationships and different things that they value. That's what we're talking about. I haven't personally done a lot of international dating, but from guys that I have talked to that have traveled to a lot of different countries, they said there is a different cultural value mindset. And like it or not, the sisterhood in particular, the dating and sexual marketplace, it's global now. You can't undo it. You're competing with everybody from everywhere. That's where we are now, and it's not going to ever be undone. So, as Nick brought up earlier, like, hey, listen, why stay over here and try to fight for this thing that they don't want to do, and they've said they don't want to do it? They're doing it in bulk over there. Let's just go over there. Like, okay, cool. And it gets to how women will say, oh, well, passport bros are broke or passport bros are dusty. Man, you ever flown to Thailand? That's not broke dude activities. I mean, those two things, they don't even make sense. So stop calling the passport bros broke and dusty and living with their mom. Those things really don't even make sense. So if they're getting more bang for their buck over there, more power to them. And I do want to say, in the DR, a 5 in the DR is like an 8 over here in the States. I just want to say that.
And I would like to add that in the DR, there's an HIV rate that is skyrocketing thanks to the passport bros, and apparently their lack of.
So let me get this. So I got a
passport bros.
No, let me not
countries that was there before.
But for real though, you can actually look it up. They say there's a rise in HIV overall, though, but particularly in the DR. So since you wanted to point that out, I want to say just wrap it up. I support passport bros. I say go where you love.
Wow,
go where you love. Just wrap it up.
Order.
Don't bring shit back. Wrap it up. If you do bring your wife back, then go ahead and make sure she's not here for the green card, because at the end of the day, it's still transactional. They're coming with their values, right? They're coming with the value of being the wife and so forth, because according to the passport bros, that they've been raised to be traditional, i.e. cook, clean, and all that good stuff, which I 100% support them being raised for that. But one thing that we don't talk about, that the passport bros don't talk about, is the fact that their stuff is transactional. You have to come with something, i.e. money. You have to come with, because they don't marry for love. They marry for support, stability, and who can take care of them. They're not
talking about the women over
love.
there or the women over here?
The women, I'm saying
both.
I'm talking about both, but they don't talk about it. Here is demonized if a woman's looking for stability because she's called a gold digger. But at the same time, over there, it's only in the Western world that women even look for love first, or used to look for love first, before it became this whole transactional thing that it is today. Over there, they look for stability first. They're not marrying you because they like, oh, you so cute and I love you. No, they're marrying you because they think they're going to get stability from you. because that's their first and foremost requirement is stability.
What's wrong
So
with that?
What's wrong with that?
no, what I'm saying
The
is that
rub,
passport bros, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. What I'm saying is that when women in America want stability first, they get demonized and called gold diggers.
Less
They
bang
get
for buck.
demonized
Because it's
and
less
say it's
bang for buck, S&M.
transactional.
I'll
That's
tell
Less
because
you
bang
why.
for
women
buck.
in America want stability on the first date. That's why. Like, what is that? They
And
want a down payment. Go
They
ahead.
want that
First of all,
overseas
you
too. But
can't
go
even
ahead, Delvin.
talk to a past. You can't even
Really?
get into a conversation unless you bring in stability to these other women. I'm
And that's-
supporting though. Once again,
That's
I
not true.
support it.
That's
I
not
say
true.
go ahead. Look, I say go ahead. I think you should go where you're loved. For those who don't have a passport, I encourage them to get a passport because I think you should go. I think there's women everywhere. So go where you're loved. What I'm saying is stop demonizing us for the same shit you're getting from over there, i.e. the whole transactional relationship that you keep kind of clowning us for. When in reality, they're looking for the same thing. They don't even think about love first. They think about stability first. They think about lineage first. They think about what can I do to make sure that whatever children I have are protected. But we're demonized for that. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if passport bros go get their rocks off, if they come back and with a wife or without a wife. I don't care about any of that. What I'm saying is stop demonizing us. And in particular, Paul Pierce, in particular, he said American women was too busy twerking. And I was like, what women are he talking about? Because on my
At
timeline, on
brunch.
my feed, say again,
At brunch.
Brunch,
Yeah.
yeah,
So when he's talking
that
about
means
brunch.
he's watching the wrong thing because I know a whole lot of
Ma'am,
women
you're married and you're in the house.
and they're not.
You're married in the house.
I'm saying it doesn't matter that I'm married in the house.
It does matter.
I have friends who are single. What I'm
Friends
saying
are
is, what the
twerking?
hell is he watching? I'm saying that there's a social media propaganda that's constantly putting Black women in negative lights because it's benefit to keep Black women in a negative light. Y'all think this divide is by on purpose? Yes, we do have bad characters, just like y'all have bad characters for Black men. But we don't constantly say, oh, well, we need to get passport because y'all thugs, y'all
Do say.
criminals,
Wait.
y'all this,
Wait.
y'all that. But here we got Paul Pierce on his platform saying American Black women, all they doing is twerking. Okay, sir. That's one subset. That's one group. I'm
And
just
this is
Cardi
saying
B.
stop
I gotta say this real
generalizing
quick.
us.
This is a Western thing because if you look at it, you know who marries out the most? It ain't Black men, it's white men. They've been doing this stuff for years. It's just kind of last come up in the Black, spaces last couple of years. That's who's doing it the most.
Oh, no,
And
go ahead.
well, and the point I want to address as him is, yeah, you're right the right to roast about the economics of it here. Like, look, they want the same thing that you want, but yeah, I don't have a problem with the inflated prices, and that's okay.
Right. So what Devin's saying is there's a discount. And Nick, I know you're about to say something. I'll be real short. Cardi B and who's that? Sexy Red. Okay, now they are not my particular ideas for role models, but they are iconic women in American culture right now. Okay. Both of these women, I think, would tell you in a minute they can't cook and they can't clean. Cardi wrote a whole song about it.
But she still got that ring.
But she still got that ring, right? And the expectation, the entitlement I'm speaking of is the idea that you don't have to have some basic skills in order to secure the ring or secure the bag. That is the value I think he might be talking about. So pushback on S&M, all that BS she was talking about. And just a few
None of it
short
is
sentences.
BS. This is transactional. None of it's BS.
I'm gonna ask you before I continue, I'm gonna just ask you a simple question. So you believe that American women are more family oriented than some of these other less developed countries?
I'm not saying that. What
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
I know you're not saying that. I'm just asking a very simple question because there's a larger point that I want to make, and so it's not a trick question. I think it's a legit question because that's the point of the topic. As I'm looking at the pre-production, uh, uh, Paul Pierce made waves claiming that American women lack the values, and I assume them to mean in regards to when it comes to family, like prioritizing family regardless of the reason, right? I'm asking you, do you disagree with that statement on the face of it, right? Because I want to see if we're going to be honest a little bit in terms of whether or not you think that American women are as family and
no, they're not.
family first oriented.
No, they're not.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we could just arrive at that, right? Because I don't think there's anything wrong in acknowledging that, right? If a person feels some type to me, so I feel like if you agree with me, that doesn't mean he's bashing American women. Now, if you're talking about the part where he says, oh, they're twerking and the other attributes, I can see where you're going with that, but I'm going to give him license for creative flair because he's doing a fucking podcast. And I do that sometimes too. So maybe that's why, and I think you do that sometimes too. So I'm going to give him a pass on that. But if we're talking about the meat of what he's talking about, and you agree with what he's saying, that's not where the conversation is.